Today, as some of you may be knowing, is a very auspicious day. Why is it auspicious? Why? Nobody knows. Lord Ram defeated the powerful demon. But we speak on the life of Lord Ram in the evening lecture, because there will be more people in the evening. Does anybody remember when these deities were installed? 997, what date? I was here for the installation.
Я был на установлении.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. In the middle of the world, to adjust things is not easy. So we thank you adjust a sitting posture. That requires a little adjustment. As we just mentioned, today is a very auspicious day. Actually, in Krishna consciousness, every day is auspicious. Why? We are engaged in serving the Lord. But some days are more auspicious than others. Today is one of them. We are fortunate to be in your temple on that day. Lord Ram is none else but the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Advaita Achyuta Mananti Rupam. God manifests Himself in various forms. And He always performs superhuman activities. Actually, Lord Ram appeared in the beginning of Treta Yuga. And the Ramayana, compiled by Valmiki, is an authoritative presentation of Lord Ram's pastime.
Yeah.
So Śrīla Goswāmī in the 9th canto only gives a summary presentation in 2 chapters, when the Bhagavatam was presented 5,000 years ago. And Treta Yuga was a lot earlier. So Śrīla Goswāmī says, since there have been many presentations, I'm only going to make a summary presentation. So we'll discuss Lord Ram's pastimes in the evening lecture. Now we'll discuss text 25, from chapter 25, and chapter 3. Satam Prasangam Mahama Virya Samvido Bhavanti Kṛṣṇa Rasayana Ratha Josana Atvarga Varmani Shadha Ratiye Bhaktir Anukrameshati Satam Prasanga Mama Virya Samvido Bhavanti Kṛṣṇa Rasayana Katha Tad Josanadas Uparga Varmani Shraddharatir Bhaktir Anukramashati Satam Prasanga Mama Virya Samvido Bhavanti Kṛṣṇa Rasayana Katha Tad Josanadas Uparga Varmani Shraddharatir Bhaktir Anukramashati. Anybody else, male or female? Om Jnanandasya Jnananjana Shalakira Chakshurmitana Tasmai Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Sargamena Mutare Swayam Rupa Kadamatyam Dharasishva Padantika Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadvara Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Satam prasangam mama virya samvido bhavanti et karna jasayana kala Ranjosana raso parga vatmani Shadanatir bhakti anukramashati. This is actually a very famous verse of the Bhagavatam. And there are a series of verses in this section that highlight the importance of spiritual association. If you're reading the third canto, we read about Lord Kapila Dev. In history there have been two Kapila Devs. One the genuine one the false one. Prabhupada gave a series of lectures on Lord Kapila Dev in Bombay. And then these lectures were published in a book, probably in Russian also. And Prabhupada called this book Teaching the Lord Kapila, the son of Devahuti. Where Prabhupada explains he wanted to identify the real Kapila and separate him from the bogus Kapila. Kapila Dev analyzes matter and spirit. This is known as the Samkhya Yoga philosophy. But the culmination of Samkhya Yoga is Bhakti Yoga, or devotion to the Lord. So, Devahuti was the mother of the Lord. The father was Ram Muni, was a very powerful yogi. He built a palace in the air. Now you have these planes that fly. They show you movies now. And they will show you movies with a mountain, an ocean, a palace, a market. But these are not real ocean and rivers. They're showing you pictures, movies. If you had a real ocean on the plane would fall instantly. The planes can't carry so much load. Kapila Dev really created a plane in which there were oceans, rivers, parks, mountains. Because he was a real yogi. Devahuti knew her son was the Supreme Lord. Lord Brahma had earlier intimated this to her. So earlier in this chapter, Devahuti said, I'm disturbed by the calamities of this material world. You are my transcendental I. Please instruct me what I should do. It is the nature of a spiritualist to always inquire how I can make more advancement. It's not that Devahuti didn't have the answer. That's a pattern that you see in the entire Bhagavatam. Just like when King Prithu received the Kumaras in his palace, King Prithu said, please instruct us how we householders can achieve the perfection of life. King Prithu had all the answers. He is an incarnation, but he was setting the example. You meet a saintly person, what should you inquire? Just like King Yudhishthira, when he met Narada Muni, he said, please instruct us how we who are living at home can achieve perfection based on the Vedas. So when we meet a saintly person, our concern should not be, give me a benediction so I may become materially rich. I inquire, it should be, how can I make spiritual advancement? So Kapila Dev has explained, by cultivating transcendental knowledge, we avoid the influence of I and mind. And Kapila Dev is emphasizing getting attached to a transcendentalist. We have attachments in material life. And Kapila Dev says, transfer these attachments to a saintly person. Earlier in this chapter, Kapila Dev has also described the qualities of a saintly person. So get attached to the spiritualist instead of the materialist. Kapila Dev is encouraging attachment to the saintly person. What is the quality of a saintly person? The saintly person has to have certain qualities that may be too small. So Kapila Dev is encouraging the association with saintly people. In Prabhupada used to give an example of the cat. The cat carries her kitten, the kitten feels secure. And the rat, when it sees the mouth of the cat, it says, "Here's my death now." So one type of association helps us to progress. Another type of association ruins our spiritual life. Now Kapila Deva has very nicely explained, by cultivating spiritual knowledge, one can get rid of material attachments. That's why we have the Bhagavatam class every day. Even if you can't attend the class in the temple every day, you should make it a point to read the Bhagavatam every day. How many of you read the Bhagavatam every day? Any time of the day. How many of you read the Bhagavad Gita every day? You should read more. Now what is Kapila Deva explaining in today's verse? In the association of devotees, discussion of the pastime and activities of the Lord is very pleasing and satisfying to the ear and the heart. There are a series of verses in this section that are just giving you the same message, more or less. You will probably see in the Bhagavatam and the scriptures the important points emphasized again and again and again. Just like Krishna could explain in one verse of the Bhagavad Gita, "You're not this body, the pure spirit soul that's eternal in nature." But through a series of verses, in great detail, Krishna is explaining the eternal nature of the soul. This is not the only section where devotee association is emphasized. Prahlad Maharaj was offered any benediction that he may desire. The challenges that Prahlad had to go through, no one has ever had to go through. Was any devotee thrown from mountain top? Did anyone have poisonous snakes surrounding him? Did anyone have elephants walk on him? Was anyone fed with poison? And he had to undergo these challenges. Why? He had only one weakness. What was his weakness? It was to attach to the Lord. In spite of threats, challenges, he did not give up his attachment to the Lord. Chaitanya says in the Sikshasana, "My dear Lord, even if you trample me to death, you will remain my worshipful Lord unconditionally." Prahlad said, "My dear Lord, please do not tempt me with any materialistic allurements. With as little as it is, I'm a materialist, and I don't want to be distracted." Because the Lord told Prahlad, "Prahlad, you had to go through all these inconveniences for me. Ask me for any benediction that you may want." Prahlad says, "A servant who tells the master, 'Please give me this benediction in exchange for my service,' is not a true servant. And a master who gives gifts to the follower, expecting some more thing in return, is not a real master." If we come to devotional service and say, "I'll do this service, but in exchange I want these benefits," we're not true servants. And a master thinks, "Oh, I'm going to give this man initiation. In exchange I'm going to get big dakshina, a few $100,000. But Prahlad says, of course, Krishna does say, people come to me under 4 factors. What are the 4 factors? One who wants money. But you devotees don't want money, is it? Devotees are very renowned. One who is in distress. You'll never get distressed. One who is inquisitive and the genuine seeker of knowledge. There you all are. So, one who has knowledge, I must serve the Lord, human life with a waste otherwise. So the 4 people come to me, you do 4 factors. But Krishna says, all these 4 are pious. But of the 4, the best is one comes to me as a result of knowledge. Prahlad, when he was offered benediction, he said, "My dear Lord, if you want to give me a benediction, give me the benediction that I may always associate with devotees." So Kapila Deva in these verses is encouraging association with advanced devotees. Now, what is the characteristic of an advanced devotee? That is explained in this chapter also. He's always engaged in serving the Lord, talking about the Lord, preaching about the Lord, acting according to the Lord's instructions. It's not that by wearing a uniform you become advanced. So if we are in the association of advanced devotees, what are you going to be here? You're going to be here. Spiritual subject matter. Or Krishna Katha. Parikshit Maharaj, as you know, fasted for the last 7 days of his life. He was cursed by a Brahmin boy called Shringi. His offense was not so serious. He was entitled to a reception. He came to the sage's hermit. Even the father regretted that his foolish son cursed such a great king. Parikshit Maharaj was fasting. He was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam at the same time. And then Kenta Parikshit Maharaj said, even though I'm fasting, because I'm hearing the nectar from the lips of Śrīla Goswami, my hunger and fast is not an impediment to me. So we are in the right association, you will hear the right message. Therefore in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, there are 2 verses as follows. The Chaitanya Charitamrita presents the life and pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates. On the one hand it says, Sadhu Sangha Sarva Shastakaya, Lavamata Sadhu Sangha Sarva Siddhi. Even if you associate for a fraction of a second with a saintly person, your life can be successful. And then there's another verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Satsanga Tyaga e Vaishnavaja. Minimize worldly-minded association. You can't completely avoid spiritual association. When you're a businessman, employee, student, you have to associate with non-devotees. And when you go to preach, you have to associate with non-devotees. But associate to the extent necessary and not more. So this association is responsible for bringing us to spiritual life and maintaining our spiritual life. We start spiritual life due to association. If I asked each of you how did you come to spiritual life, I would probably get 2 answers. Someone invited me, someone preached to me, or someone gave me a book. That's all the sadhus are. Maybe the exceptionally rare one may say, I had internal realization that I must serve Krishna. Krishna came in my dream and said, come on, go to the Volga temple and become a devotee. Most of you had some association. That's how we come to spiritual life. Then to maintain our spiritual life, we also need this association. I don't know how many of you noted, Prabhupada made a very powerful point in the purport. Prabhupada in the purport says, association with devotees of the Lord means association with the Lord. Why is that? Who can answer?
The devotees are non-different from the Lord.
Of course they're different.
Non-different.
Now, of course they're different. Devotees are not the same as the Lord. Then we will all become impersonal. Yeah.
Because it develops humility.
The Prabhupada is making a statement. Association with devotees of the Lord is non-different from association with the Lord. Because the devotees of the Lord are talking about the Lord. And because they're talking about the Lord, that talk is non-different from the Lord. If one is with somebody who may be dressed up as a devotee, but is engaged in mundane talk, and it doesn't mean to practice the philosophy he's talking, then that association is not the same. Just like when you read the Bhagavad Gita, reading the Gita is not different from the Lord. You read the Srimad Bhagavatam, the verses of Bhagavatam are not different from the Lord. Just like when we chant the holy name, is the holy name identical with the Lord or separate? So similarly, the associate with devotees who are engaged in talking about the Lord inspiring you to serve the Lord, inspiring you to study the Vedas, that association is a powerful association. So association with devotees, especially advanced devotees, is emphasized again and again. Further, Prabhupada says in the purport, without spiritual association, you can't make any advancement. In this purport, Prabhupada says, just by theoretical knowledge, one cannot make any advancement. So this ISKCON society offers us plenty of opportunity to associate with the advanced devotees. To defeat what's negative, we have to be attached to the positive. The definition of a spiritualist is its prime areas are spiritual activities. Presently we have a taste for what? Material life. How about that? So we need to develop a taste for material activities and a taste for spiritual activities. And that is attainable by following the advice in this word. So as we said earlier, this point gets emphasized right till the 12th canto, the need for spiritual association. Just like chanting the holy name gets emphasized again and again and again. Prabhupada explains in the Bhagavad Gita, repetition is necessary to drive the point home. We need to hear again and again and again. And that regular hearing penetrates into the heart and chases the Brahmana, cleanses the heart. Kapila Deva explains, this process of Krishna consciousness is the easiest process. It is made even easier by whom? Whom? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made the process even easier. What did he say? Hainam eva kevalam. Kalo naste vanaste vaya. Chant the holy name, chant the holy name, chant the holy name. And that is the process in this Kali Yuga. Parikshit Maharaj inquired from GKG Goswami, how will people in Kali Yuga be saved? Because being a devotee, he was very concerned how people's suffering can stop. In the 5th canto, you read about the hellish planets. If any of you read those, it's all of you should read it. You may get scared after reading it. That's a reality. So, for example, of course, hopefully all of you are on the path of going back to Godhead. You don't have to worry about the hellish planet. But you have to worry about others who are headed for a hellish planet. Parikshit Maharaj says, how can people be saved from going to the hellish planet? Kaledo Senede Raja. O King, Kali Yuga is an ocean of vice. Kali Yuga, wherever you go, there's invitation for sense enjoyment. The environment is such, it helps you to forget God. You walk on the streets, you see obscene billboards. If you go to Italy and Europe, you see real obscene billboards right on the road. And everywhere, sense enjoyment is promoted. So Kali Yuga is an ocean of vice. Thanks to smartphones, materialistic life has become easier. You can watch movies all the time. You can watch pornography, right? You can carry pornography. You can use it for anything mundane. But if you're smart and you're a devotee, you use it to serve the Lord. You put all the Prabhupada books in your smart. You put pictures of the deities in your smart. Kali Yuga is an ocean of vice. Asteka Mahagana. But there's one benediction in this age. What is that? Kirtana Deva Krishna's here. Krishna's Kirtan, chanting the holy name. Mukta Sangha Saparamita. That can give you liberation from the cycle of birth. So, if you are in the right association, you'll hear about the glories of the Supreme Lord. Prabhupada in the purpose says, the impersonal concept of God can be destroyed if you are in the association of devotees. Prabhupada says, without the association of devotees, you can't understand the personal concept of God. Just like Krishna's transcendental pastimes. God appeared as a four-handed form, beautifully ornamented, decorated. Materialists who read this will say, hey, this is fiction. How can anyone appear with four hands? How can anyone appear as half man, half lion? But if you're on the association of devotees, and you explain how the Lord appeared, then you'll understand, yes, God can appear and perform superhuman activity. So even to understand the philosophy, we need genuine association of advanced devotees. So that should be our goal, to constantly seek spiritual association. We take association and we give association. Have you heard in English as a phrase, two-way street? What is that?
Слышали об этом?
Two-way street. You must have give and take. Give and take. What do we take? Spiritual association from those that are more advanced. And what do we give? Association to those who are less advanced. One who just takes association and doesn't give is called a miserly man. So we give and take. And to take devotee association and stay in devotee association, we should have a positive attitude. Positive attitude means look at the good in everyone, try to encourage everyone. By having this positive outlook, we can create a harmonious society. And by developing a positive, harmonious atmosphere, it becomes pleasurable for us to work together. So by engaging in service, we can develop at this stage for sense enjoyment. So this knowledge that we are discussing is coming from home. From home.
Кого мы это получаем?
Kapila, and can any knowledge coming from the Lord be subject to flaws? Can it be subject to flaws? Mundane knowledge is subject to flaws. We have a tendency to commit mistakes. Doesn't matter how great an authority you may be, we make mistakes. They say, where is human? So, we all make mistakes. Our senses are imperfect. We can't even see the eyebrows. And even with these eyes, we can see, because we have the assistance of sunlight or artificial light. We get illusion. So, knowledge coming from the Lord is free from any of these effects. Therefore, we should accept this knowledge with full faith and conviction. The constant hearing is a must if we want spiritual advancement. That's why we take part in the Sadhu Sangha festival. That's why we go to preaching programs. Avail of every opportunity to get good association and be positive towards each other. Just don't think my service is all that's important and the other person's service I don't care. Respect everyone's service. Realize everyone is doing important service. Not only I'm doing the important. And that will help create a harmonious atmosphere. Not only I'm doing the important. So Kapila Dev is reminding us of the importance of spiritual association. He says, discussion of spiritual topics in the association of advanced devotees is pleasing to the heart and the ear. Does our heart ever get satisfied with mundane talk? No. Therefore, we are always looking for more. So, Prabhupada says, this kind of society is created to provide this association. And in the Updeshwar method, he talks about 6 rasas amongst devotees. What are the 6 rasas? Reveal your mind to those who are more advanced. But then what's the benefit? What's the result? Take instructions. There's no point in revealing a mind if you're not going to take instructions. You go to the doctor, this is my ailment, this is my ailment. When he gives the medicine, you say, well, that I don't want. So revealing a mind if you're ready to take instructions. Give charity and accept charity. What do we have to give in charity? What? Give in charity, that's transcendental knowledge. What do we accept charity? We accept superior knowledge and donation that people give in exchange for our books, etc. Then, serve prasad and eat prasad. I know some Vaishnavas, they will always eat last. They'll serve everyone first. And there's some will always eat first and never serve others. Once somebody asked Prabhupada a question. There's some who steal others' prasad and some who give their own prasad. Prabhupada said both are okay. You steal prasad and you're attached to prasad. So serve prasad and take prasad. So Prabhupada said that this society is formed to facilitate the 6 rasas amongst devotees. So in the association of devotees, you can practice these 6 rasas, and that will help us advance spiritually and to create very harmonious atmosphere in every temple. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Always tend to consider our own service is most important, and we tend not to notice the service of other devotees. Till we do the same service, then we can appreciate the service of other devotees. Are there other ways to start to appreciate the service of other devotees?
Yesterday I was reading a letter that Prabhupada wrote to Srila Krishna Maharaj in 1968. Prabhupada said, appreciate everyone's service. Don't think that only your service is important. And if you do that, that will create a better environment in the temple. That's your question.
How practically to appreciate the other service?
Encourage everyone. You're a temple authority. Encourage everyone. Don't always chastise them.
Srila Prabhupada often spoke about professional Bhagavatam reciters, and so is there any benefit if we hear someone who recites Srimad Bhagavatam but who has some ulterior motives?
Well, ulterior motive is different from professional reciter. If you have a motive, I want to be a famous speaker of the Bhagavatam, as long as he's giving you the right message, that's okay. As long as he's saying Krishna is supreme. But if he's expressing the message, just like I know cases, a brand new bhakta preached to somebody, and that someone became a devotee, and the bhakta went away. I know some case, the bhakta distributed a book. The person read the book, became a devotee. So it depends on what he's saying. So
that in this case, we may just say that we can just repeat the message and we don't have to work on our purity. So because the message is pure, so does it mean that we don't have to also work on our own purity? Because we may just say that the message is pure, so I just repeat the pure message, so it doesn't matter who am I.
the more than important, Ben says if you preach, practice what you preach, you will just repeat what I've heard. You don't practice. It's not that it will have no effect, but in the long run, we should practice what we preach.
No.
Just like there was a movie made Hare Rama, Hare Krishna in India. The movie was a big hit. And the movie was made after Prabhupada came to India. The good thing in the movie was the Hare Krishna mantra was in the background of the whole movie. The bad thing was it completely misrepresented our philosophy. It showed that people take drugs and they feel high, they take and they chant Hare Krishna. So I went to Prabhupada and said, Prabhupada, this movie is going to spoil our image. People are going to think we take drugs. And Prabhupada said, no, nothing will be lost. People will get the holy name and benefit. Here was a case where they were completely misrepresenting our philosophy. But the holy name is so powerful. It doesn't matter where you hear it from, you get the benefit. But That doesn't mean we should not try to become pure. If you want to be effective as a preacher, purity is a force. Okay? Saglasan? Okay, show up, brother.
Why it is so that to get bad attachments, it's very easy to get attached to something bad. And to develop the attachment to something good takes so much effort and time.
Bad attachments, you don't have to go to any school. You don't need a guru or a teacher. You automatically learn that. Because we are living in the material world, when the environment all around is Maya, it's Maya's kingdom. You have to go against that flow. To go against that flow, you have to work hard. Just like you live always in the temple. There's a holy name. Like when you go on an annual pilgrimage to the Dham, spiritual life becomes easy. Prabhupada. Why? Because you're living in a spiritual kingdom. If you come back to Bhagavad, back to struggle in material energy. Therefore, stay in spiritual association. No question from the ladies? Yes.
Could you tell about your personal experience of getting the taste to Srimad Bhagavatam, reading Srimad Bhagavatam? What helped you to get this taste for Srimad Bhagavatam?
What helped me to get a taste for devotional service? The goal of the holy name, Bhagavatam, Gita, is to get a taste for devotional service. But nobody should think, I have a taste. We should be thinking, we're trying to develop that taste. At least that's my status. We're trying to develop a taste. Okay? Yes. Yeah, partially welcome.
If a devotee is more inspired by some particular method of devotional service and he can do this more respectfully and he gets bigger taste in that, should he try to endeavor more to do this particular service, and what are the criteria that this service fits the devotee more?
Better to take direction from your counselor. There are two things that are important. What I like and what is needed by Krishna. Just like you have a temple. Some services are needed in a temple. Someone has to be pujari, someone has to cook, someone has to clean, someone has to collect. So these are examples of services. Whatever devotee says. I don't like deity worship, I don't like cooking, I don't like collecting, I don't like cleaning. But I want to do. I just want to give a lecture in an auditorium. That's what Prabhupada said when you say, I want, that's the beginning of Maya. If you say, Krishna needs this, let me do that. That is more advanced. When we say, I want, what does it really mean? My mind. You don't give so much importance to mind. I'll stop at this point. As I told you earlier, today is a very auspicious day. And today evening we'll speak on the life and teaching of Lord Ramakrishna. Okay? Hare Krishna.